Hello, everybody. Hope you guys are having a good night or day, whatever it is for you. I just want to take a second to talk about accusations and to talk about the accuser. So, a lot of times when I go to learn about other religions or when I go to learn about what's going on in some people's minds, I'll notice a lot of times it's like pure accusations. And when I say that, let's say I'm talking to a Christian man. I was just watching a video of this Christian man speaking. I believe he's Christian. And it was peaceful. He's talking about the peace it brings and all these other things. Well, then he all of a sudden started talking about how he started talking about Satan and his devices, right? So then what he did was he said that Hindus and it was another one, I believe. He said Hindus and Buddhists, I believe, and something else. Uh, he said he was talking about how Satan will use his devices and confuse you and have you lost. And the only true way to peace is through Christ, right? So I want to talk about how a lot of times we project our feelings onto other people, and that's why a lot of religion exists, actually. When a lot of times it feels good when other people feel like we feel. When we have a group of people behind us, we feel strengthened, we feel stronger, as if any of those people actually, in theory, strengthen me on the inside. No matter what anybody does to you outside of causing physical pain, no matter what anybody does to you, it's created by you. A person can come up and call me the N word. I'm going to get mad. He can go up to a Caucasian man or a white man and call him the N word. Nothing. Probably laughs or something. Or if he does get mad, it's because he's sympathetic or empathetic towards how other people would feel, which is kind of a good trait to have. But I'm going to explain why that can be a bad trait if you take it too far. Not standing up for us or other people, but I'll explain in a minute. It goes into the scripture, a gift can destroy the heart. So a lot of times when people are unaware and they're not conscious of their surroundings, their feelings to appease a god or a spirit of something can overpower logic and reasoning. Let's say in everyday life, I know a lot of people are dealing with things. And so I would try to be as kind to them as possible, whether it's building up my character to make me look like a good guy or I'm an actual empathetic person and care about them is irrelevant. That it's actually not irrelevant, but what I'm saying is the point of this exercise is that a lot of times we will hurt other people and we're unaware of it. Okay, I'll give you an example. Christians versus the gay community, the LGBTQ community. A lot of times Christians are extremely disrespectful to homosexual people or people in the gay community. On the opposite side of that, because of how they have been treated all this time, homosexuals can be extremely mean to people in religion, mainly Christians and Muslims. So, why does this exist? There are laws in Christianity, or there are laws in religion that say it is illegal to be gay. The problem with creating religious law is that not everybody feels the same way. So when you create religious law, or when you create law based on your perception of how your God wills, you are hurting people that do not feel this way. I am not simply talking about at a government level. Maybe you're a preacher and you get in your pulpit and you just get to holler and all this nonsense, semen retention, don't touch women, live your life like a holy monk, Jesus, 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 sit in a box and only praise him and pray. and only do the right thing. Maybe you're a Muslim pastor or teacher, and you get up there in the pulpit and you start telling people only for Allah, 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 nothing else Allah. I'm going to tell you something extremely interesting. But when I tell you this, if you use it to go then say the Persians, the Egyptians, the Arabs, you're doing the same thing over and over and over like a fractal. I am telling you this so you know where it comes from. And then I'm going to explain the tree of life and why I said a gift can destroy the heart, or why I said too much empathy can destroy the heart. The problem with knowing something is that then you may be swayed to that side of the arguments. Religion. The scriptures say at the beginning, be fruitful and multiply, and do not get into good and evil. This is written because you have two options for everything you do. Everything comes with a choice. Whether you decide to walk into the kitchen and then you get to the door and say, oh, never mind, I'm going to the bathroom, or I'm going to go back and sit down, or I'm going to go to my room, or I'm actually going to the kitchen. Am I going to go to the refrigerator? Am I going to throw this? It's all choices. Which means if you look at the world in good and evil, that means the opposite choice is always an evil choice. But if you look at the world like a spectrum, at any moment, you can basically have true free will. Am I telling you to go do everything under the sun? No. I am telling you that when you put up the roadblocks around people, you're the cage. You're the devil. You're the, like I can write, it's like I have to write it out in math or science or something. I'm trying to get you to understand that every religious law you create is usurping another religious law that was created long ago. So you guys are going around, like we'll say the Crusades, they went around murdering all these pagans because they were evil and worshiped multiple gods. But those people are doing what you're doing now. They were forced to worship those gods. They didn't have a choice. They didn't wake up, start learning about life on their own. They were taught these things. So we'll say it's evil to be gay. But do you not know they taught to be gay for religions back then? It was the normal thing to do. Then in another 100 years, 500 years, when we're all dead and people are tired of us, scientists and atheists and whatever that emerges, because it's probably going to go into psycho land like every other teaching, new people are probably going to come out and say, yeah, we want a God, and beat the atheists on the head. I am telling you, you cannot live life telling people what to do. None of you. And if you don't understand that Europe is the false prophet, what does everybody in Christianity and Islam doing right now? A prophet's going to come. A Messiah's going to come. A prophet's going to come. A Messiah's going to come. So what do all these people keep doing? I am the Mahdi. I am the Christ. I am Isa. In Jewish culture, I am the return. That messianic Messiah that was all over YouTube a few months ago, 6-7 months ago. Yet nobody has met him, and they're probably just sharing an AI video. Hear me out. What I'm telling you all is, this is the age of the false prophet, the Antichrist. Everybody's the Christ. If you could take each individual person in a room, gas him up enough, Christians and Muslims, gas them up enough, take away all punishments and open your mind towards them and talk to them enough, you'll get them to admit they might be the Christ. I promise you, you will. My videos in the past were trying to show you guys what's happening. But no, like, I think I'm being either too sarcastic or I'm I'm not trying to say I'm up here, because who am I? Another flesh meat of rocks. I'm trying to get you guys to understand that you're doing this to yourselves. All these people with paranoia and anxiety all their life. You're going to die and go to hell. You're going to die and go to hell. Oh, Jesus is going to return and judge all you motherfuckers. You're going to pay. You're going to pay. Justice system. You're going to go to jail. You're going to go to jail. Oh, you say something crazy, you're going to go to a psych house and get a lobotomy. This is how we deter what we feel like is bad. We're putting people in psychological nut cages. But if people were to be more open-minded, I like Neil deGrasse Tyson, especially his views on religion, because he says all I need is a shred of, he says, which is how I feel. He says, at first we call something God, get some type of scientific revelation, because people work hard with math and science, not the nut houses who are creating all these random theories and hypotheses with no evidence. People that actually work hard to create something. The irony is almost all inventions are accidents. Somebody's trying to prove XYZ and accidentally invents ABC. I'm telling you. So, what I meant to say about Islam earlier in the video. Do you not know that the early Islamic fathers, Persian fathers, Arab, whatever you want to call them, depending on your demographic or your culture, you'll probably call them that, they were brilliant. But do you know where they got a lot of their information? It was Mesopotamia and Egypt. I am telling you guys this because, first of all, Iraq is ancient Mesopotamia. All that land, they just call it Iraq now. Sumer, Acadia, I don't even know all the names. I think Babylon too. I could be wrong with that one. But then you have Iran, which is Persia now. Or you have Persia, which is Iran, which is ancient. I think it's Phoenicians. They have fire temples. You're looking at the fire temples from them. Then you have Zoroastrians, I believe. I don't even know where Judaism. If you look at Zoroastrianism, that was more closely tied to their religion. I think it's all been Europeanized. The Jew, Hebrew, all that, that's all English language. I am telling you, I think stuff's been switched around. But there was Zoroastrians there in that area. Then you have Africa, which is all connected. Any of those people all came from Africa, either from the Egyptian side or down by, I think I might be wrong, so I'm not going to say it, but there's a little bitty strip of land down by Yemen and all that, and it's a little straight. And that goes into the Middle East too. Where do you think Arabic people came from if we all originally migrated out of Africa? I'm trying to tell you all. You all are fighting over DNA when you're all the same. You're not the same, but my God. So I'm going to show you the irony of something. Somebody will be watching my video and they will say, he said, my God, he believes in God. So I'm going to explain to you that is a phrase. So if I say something like that, I am so perplexed that I am amazed in awe. And that is the phrase I use, my God. So I could say, oh my goodness, but I'm not even going to explain any further because some people I'm going to help prove God real quick. I'm going to show you the irony of life. There is no concrete anything. I can't be concrete atheist because let me show you how even I could be foiled. So the word God exists, just like Harry Potter exists. Harry Potter is not a real actual boy, but he is real. Thousands, if not millions of people go to Harry Potter Con or these places where Comic-Cons where people dress up and become characters. People wear his character on Halloween and all the characters in the story. So for some reason, Harry Potter is true. The spirit of Harry Potter, the spirit of magic. Now, God, it is a word that exists. It is an entity that exists in the realm of an idea. It is something that physically exists in the dictionary. Every single human being on the planet, inside of their brain, is going to have different stimuli for God, whether it be how they think he looks, feels, his color, his powers, the realm of what he can do, any of those things. So God. You then, let's say now I start to think about God. I am being given his spirit. Now, I'm going to explain. Let's say two really close friends, or even let's say you meet somebody and you know nothing about this person, and now you meet them, and they are really influential on you. You like maybe their laugh, the tone of their voice. You like how they look. Maybe they're an interesting person, extremely intelligent. You two leave each other and get to know each other, you know, exchange whatever, become friends. But now throughout the day, maybe your laugh is switching up. You're like, why don't I just laugh like that? Or maybe you sound different in terms of tones. Maybe you're using longer syllables or less syllables. Maybe you're using slang now when you talk. Their spirit is rubbing off on you. There is an actual scientific explanation for this, but that's super deep into psychology and absorbing external stimuli. And so I'm not going to get into that. That's where we go into the spirit, which is why I was explaining before how Neil deGrasse Tyson explains in the past, when we don't understand something, we call it maybe God or spirits. But as we become more scientifically aware and knowledgeable, then we can know what these things are. So in terms of the word God. Okay, now I talked about spirits before, how I don't believe they're actual magical things, but the things that, like, let's say you have the spirit of Christmas. You walk into a room, or maybe it's snowy outside, so you walk into the house and there's Christmas decorations everywhere. The idea of Santa Claus and the reindeer and the elf on the shelf and the presents and the festive time of year. Maybe Thanksgiving, you get the Thanksgiving spirit. You know, the spirit of being thankful for everything, coming together, actually going to church to be thankful and stuff. And, you know, cooking food and being appreciative, you know what I mean? Then you got the Halloween spirit, you know, the spooky spirit. Ooh, maybe we watch Halloween movies, scary movies, trick or treat, things like that. You know what I mean? Valentine's Day or those types of things, which were actually ancient gods back in the day. And they believed in those gods the way we believe in gods in this day and age. You know what I mean? It's just a different time period. So now you have God and you have God's spirit that is lent to us. Whether, I'm not getting into whether it's real or not. I'm not getting into that. I'm saying there's a God, and when we think of God and we do godly things, that's us receiving God's spirit. And now there's three. You have God, the spirit that's lent to us. Maybe we read the Bible or around other religious people and all these other things. And now God is inside of us, the Lord of hosts. Now we're the Son of God. Now we are God, sort of speak, on the inside. Oh, when I say that, age of false prophets. Disclaimer, you are not the Messiah. I've said what Messiah and anointed one means, and I don't think people are listening to me. It just means you're preferred, you're loved. So if the whole world jumps on somebody's acorns and then follows them, I guess that would be a Messiah, would it not? Because everybody accepted him. I don't know. Anyways, we are in the age of the Antichrist. And when I say any of these things, I'm not talking about magic. Nothing's coming. I'm not talking about stuff coming out the ground. And when I say Antichrist, I mean false information. When I say false information, everything is relative to the person perceiving it. So I just simply mean people that are using the information to either, they don't truly believe it, but are using it to get rich, control people, manipulate people, or start wars, or become more powerful. Because all information is objective to the person that is believing the information, I suppose. Okay, so then that would be basically, I don't like calling it the Trinity because you guys are like using it as actual physical whatever. I'm just simply explaining in psychology what's happening with the 3 for 1. Muslims cannot argue the Trinity because Allah does what he wills, and Allah can do whatever under the sun. So how could they argue what Allah can and can't do whatever? Any man explaining Allah is a liar, just like all men are liars, because if he is an omnipotent, perfect, whatever God that you all keep calling him, then he can do whatever he wants. He can come down on earth and curse 1,000,000 times, and who's to say that's good and evil? That's our logic. I keep trying to explain to people. You all keep saying it's not possible for Jesus to be God and God and God. While I don't believe any of that foolishness, somebody could ask me, do you believe in Jesus? And if I say yes, I'm not talking about the magical stuff. I'm saying I believe, be merciful to others, be kind to others, be peaceful to others, do not kill others, love other people. If you see somebody nutty, try to explain to them. If you cannot, then maybe I am the one that is judging them and I am nutty to them. See, and And another thing, I can explain how God is omnipotent also at the same time. And I can explain how God is eternal. And I can explain how God is all powerful. Let's say anything under the sun happens. From a Christian's perspective, I can argue as God. Now you argue against it. And all you'll ever be doing is arguing with me because, in my mind or in my point of view, it was. So, what does that mean? Let's say I go to talk to somebody who is religious or Christian or Muslim or whatever. They're going to give all their attributes. They're going to say he is eternal, which technically he is he not? If all the generations for forever and ever and ever worship some God, was it not true? Was it not eternal? And was it not written since the beginning of time to the foundation of time? From the first humans that was worshiping God all the way to maybe our demise, which will make it all true. Hi, little guy. Up. So as I was saying before, or whatever, um, whenever dealing with that type of situation, when dealing with omnipotence, omniscience, all those things, if I am speaking on an entity or something of that nature, then what's happening is I can go on and make those attributes go on forever and ever and ever, just basically on those attributes. And so making that item omnipotent or omnipotent. So let's say there's a bunch of natural disasters and things of that nature that happened and or arise. I can say that it was God or whatever being that I or entity that I create, which is what I believe happened with the ancient Mesopotamian story. You know, that story of the flood is an old story coming back from what would be now Iraq, because that was ancient Mesopotamia. Get back here, little one. Look, we're watching shows about animals. Up. But yeah, and dealing in terms of dealing with that type of logic, something can be eternal or have eternal attributes, even when thinking of it in the sense that if it had started from the beginning, let's say man have been worshiping God since day one, you know, like the sun and crops, the crop gods, and the ancient cultic religions and things like that before Egypt and whatnot from early man. If mankind continues to worship gods all the way to the end, technically that was true. I am the beginning and the end, and I am the alpha and the mega, but I'm not thinking of it in terms of like magic, but in terms of philosophy that can be applied to these your spirit. So like when I read that book or certain scriptures in that book, I believe that is what the entity or the spirit that you are creating from the original spirit of God. And that's just what I'm trying to explain or whatnot. But life is beautiful, and the more we figure out about life, the more beautiful life can be. Because if I was a stubborn man and I was a mean man and I was caught in my ways, I wouldn't have this little beautiful grandbaby. Yeah, that's my step grandson named Ali. He adorable. Look at him. You want to fight all times. You want to fight. You want to fight all times. Yeah, all times. Adorables. You knock it out. But yeah, uh, in terms of attributes, you know, certain things that are written can are there for a reason. And when I say that, I'm simply stating that as much as a lot of people have been hurt and do not like to have certain aspects around them, like maybe Christian religion, a lot of people need it for their last resort. You know what I mean? It's the spirit that keeps them sane or solemn or solace in this confusing world. So, um, give me one second. Get back over here, you little munchkin. Ah, okay. What are you doing? You want to fight? Nah, but yeah, I just like to explain certain things. You know what I mean? And a lot of times when I make these, I just want people to know that if you're tormented or tortured or like to argue and fight a lot over religion, a lot of that is vain. What a person, a more logical outtake would be like using it to strengthen yourself on the inside. But then again, you don't need that type of reasoning if it doesn't help you. If it does, go for it. You know what I mean? But watch out for accusing people and accusing others. There's accusations everywhere. You know what I mean? That you you don't want this next generation to go around hating anybody. You want them to be able to learn and understand and grow. That's why we're learning about apes and animals and stuff. Look, look, this the A lynx and a deer are friends. It's amazing. You gonna fight? Hi. No, but yeah, the accuser. Just try to understand people better, man, because accusations could tear somebody off. You can mess around and tell somebody they're a sinful demon and make them depressed for no reason. Why? You wouldn't do that outside of religion, so why are you doing it inside of religion? Technically, the way I see it, using a sword to tear people apart, no matter what creed you are. You know what I mean? So there's better things out there to do with time, I guess, I suppose. So. Enjoy your lives, and remember, all this stuff can be traced back to the beginning. I've been doing a lot of history and going through each civilization to see what form of this that they had, and always been a bumpy ride. So all that really is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. What matters is living your life and not getting tangled in a tree of good and evil, because like I said, life has a spectrum, and it's better to see the rainbow than just one color all the time. Okay, so before I ended this video, I just wanted to talk about earlier what I meant when I said being too empathetic or sympathetic can be detrimental, and how a gift can destroy the heart. That's a scripture in the Bible. So before I even talk about this, I know some people be like, oh, you talk about a gift destroying the heart, cigarettes destroy the heart too. Yeah, we get it. Anyways, the point is, what I mean is, oftentimes I've talked about a balance, you know what I mean? And I've talked about how in life there's a spectrum to things, and it's not always black and white, because then when you look at things like black and white, that's two-dimensional thinking, like good and evil, you know what I mean? You have to understand the situation, critical thinking, and understanding your surroundings. So if you give, I'll take this to a biological aspect. Let's say you want to be the most giving, caring person, but you give all of your food away, so then you starve to death. Or let's say you want to build homes for the homeless or do something like that, but you work so hard and you do so much that your body collapses and you collapse. Or I'll give you another example. You have people that feel like they have to work hard, super hard, and have a single mindset to where you only are positive with everything you do, or else you'll fail. And that's not true. Oftentimes, you have to look at life from both ends of the spectrum. You know what I mean? Oftentimes I'll see myself and I'll be like, ooh, maybe I was just too mean, or maybe I just was, kind of out of character. But then I'll have to look at the situation, and then when I look at the situation, I can better understand myself. What caused me to get like that? What caused me to get irate? Was it this current situation, or was it something from before? Now I bring that up to say this: the gift thing. I don't know how every individual feels individually. You know what I mean? Anyways, the point is, a lot of times when people do things for others or give somebody a gift or try to help other people, they expect something in return, even if it's just praise. So, in this generation, I'm seeing a lot of people like give somebody on the streets money or do this and that, but they're doing it on camera. You know what I mean? Don't let your left hand know what your right hand's doing. Certain things are written for a reason. You're doing it for views or praise, or even if you're doing it to prove a point, you're still humiliating the person on camera. You may not think you are, but you are. This virtual world could possibly be forever, and this stuff will be seen by many generations if we don't destroy ourselves. And so, even like, let's say a man that's donating a lot of money to a cause, well, maybe he'll want special privileges or special things of that nature, which, of course, if you're the one funding something, technically it's yours. But if you're doing it out of charity, that's the difference between a corporation and a charity. If it's for charitable and religious causes, it should be from the abundance of the heart. If it's for a corporation or for profit, then you can do whatever you want because it's yours, technically. So, um, I just want to basically explain that concept. And something else I need you guys to understand. A lot of times this geopolitical fighting and fighting from different ends of the spectrum, like, what's going on with Israel right now and Palestine. A lot of that is religious. We like to look at it and just like, we woke up yesterday and be like, oh, these people are peaceful or this side's peaceful, and it's just we don't know what's going on. Terror. No, it has to do with a long line of religion plus displacement plus a lot of other stuff going on. So um, I bring that up to say this: if people aren't going to understand each other, then we're just talking on cameras. I see a lot of people debating and talking about what's going on, and you just getting views for stuff. That's something that's going on because nothing's changing. These people, I don't know what's going on. It's like causing mental illness because and anxiety because it's showing no matter how good you act, there's still negativity in the world. So I don't know. So to me, the older I get, I'm starting to understand. It seems like life. It's random. It seems random because of the amount of knowledge that I possess, but it's like a whole string of events. It's a show called A Series of Unfortunate Events, I think, and that's what it feels like. But anyways, I digress. The point of this is to basically say, find that balance. If you're too giving and too loving, you can hurt yourself. If you're violent and angry and vengeful, you can hurt yourself. I mean, try to be kind and help your species, I guess. And I really want to talk about this real quick. Okay, apes. Humans are apes. So when I say that, people are going to start being like, then why are there gorillas and chimps and orangutans? Okay, so um, we all come from a common ancestor. We share a lot of DNA together. So let's say I look at the let's say I look at the let's say I look at the Asian community. There are a bunch of different types of Asians, but why is this? Their locations and their culture and their ways of life just totally different, right? So would you say that Asians have evolved from Asia? Would you say that the Japanese and the Koreans and the Chinese are all different? So are there still humans? So why are Asians? That's what you guys sound like. So what you're doing is we all were similar, or we all might have been the same a long, 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 long time ago, and then different groups, or we'll call them tribes, or whatever you want to call it, pacts. They went and did different things and had different evolutions. So we'll say maybe there was I'm making this word up, or I want what maybe we'll say hominids. We'll call them, instead of humans, we'll say hominids. And maybe there was millions of hominids a long, long, long time ago, and maybe 100,000 hominids went and started a tribe over here in the jungle somewhere and did this. Well, maybe they ended up learning about fire and then started having cooked foods and cooked meats, which developed the brain differently, and then caused us to become gather hunters, and then learn had other phenomena happen based on that phenomena. Then you have chimpanzees who eat meat, but gorillas don't. But they're all apes. What's the difference? Gorillas have totally different teeth than chimpanzees. You know what I mean? So in terms of that, if I were to say that a human is an ape, it's because we come from the same hominid family. We branched and ventured off and then evolved into different creatures, if that makes sense. Evolution is constant. We do it every generation. If that were not true, then my half black children would be full black. They would have all my genes. But they've changed in a way from me, right? You see what I'm saying? There's constant change with every generation. And the further down the line you go, there's going to be different humans. They have found 16 different type of human skeletons. So I say all that to say this. It's good to be educated. Learn. Don't be too empathetic, but don't be a violent savage. Find your middle ground and enjoy your life. Because to be honest, even if it isn't real, it's good to have as a spiritual structure. And even if it is real, then you guys have no idea what you're talking about anyway, and you're speculating as humans, and you could all possibly get up there and be like, whoa. So just live your life and enjoy culture and do what you're gonna do. And racism is silly to me. I don't understand why you guys are so vexed by egotistical things like your colors and your races and your cultures. You're all humans.